episode 4010, Miles That Matter.
Moms, it's time to rediscover, rejuvenate, and renew who you are in mind, body, and spirit. Welcome to Create Your Now, Your Best Selfie, the show to help you do just that. Here's your host, certified life coach, personal trainer, and nutritionist, Christiane Wargo.
Happy day. Welcome to a brand new week. And yes, you're in the right place. My voice is just, maybe I never got over laryngitis. I have no idea. But take a deep breath. You know what? We are taking a journey, miles that matter. For those of you who are brand new to Create Your Now, welcome to this incredible family. I'm so delighted of your presence. If you already haven't had the opportunity, you want to head on over to createyournow.com where you can learn more and to sign up for the Kisses newsletter, the Keep It Simple strategy, everyday solutions to live, love, and impact. Well, this episode is brought to you by AIM, inspiring connection and community. Okay, so I'm just going to ask you, give me some grace. I don't know what it is. I had a great weekend. How was your weekend? Did you enjoy some March Madness? Oh my goodness. All I can say is maybe I should whisper this whole episode, but seriously, it was some good stuff. And I didn't even have time to actually put everything together because I was playing with my grandbabies and seeing the family. And it was just a wonderful thing. It was just wonderful. The weather was gorgeous. How's your weather? Hawaii, we're still praying for you. There's just a lot going on out there, isn't there? And sometimes I think we just get in our minds and our heads, sometimes for the positive, but probably more on the negative side than the positive side, honestly. And so as you begin to embark on this brand new week and you're sitting there looking in front of you, maybe for you, you're on spring break now. I know I've got a couple kiddos that are on spring break right now. I had last week a couple kiddos taking some time off. It seems like we're always on a break. I don't know. When you have a large family, it's like who's taking a break, where, when, and all of this. Lots of moving parts, but it's fun. It's exciting. And I think about just how our life is in general, right? It truly is a game where you get to play in the rules, out of the rules, right? You can be in bounds or out of bounds. You get to either step up to the plate and be the leader, or you can say, no, I don't want to be the quarterback. I would rather just be a guard. I'd rather just stand back a little bit, right? Let's do football and basketball all at the same time. Why? Because we can here at Create Your Now, because that's what it is. It's all about creating your now, where you fit in. And so March Madness, these games have been intense. They've had some incredible games. I'll probably refer to them throughout the episode off and on. So if you like basketball, stay tuned because, we have a lot of fun with that. But in all seriousness, life's toughest challenges don't just test your body. They strain your mind. And when stress piles up and struggles knock hard, it's easy to cling to what feels safe and familiar. And sometimes those safe places live right in your own head. And it's in the form of self-talk. And that self-talk can keep you stuck. And if you want to walk the miles that matter, the real journey begins inside your mind. And I know you know this, but I just want to remind you, your mindset is the foundation. It truly is. What are you feeding your mind every single day? What are you listening to? Whether it's a podcast right here. I know I'm not the only thing you listen to, which is great. There's so many great things out there. I listen to a lot of things, and sometimes I don't listen to everything all the way through, but I want to touch base. I want to have touch points. It's important. Why? Keeps you well-rounded, keeps you grounded, keeps you informed. It lets you know, wait, this might be going on. You need to be aware of this. But that doesn't mean you have to get stuck and wrapped up in it, right? We can go to the extreme and be like, I'm a gamer. I'm just going to be all in. And you could sit there in front of your computer, and as long as you're getting fed and you can go to the bathroom and somehow you can afford life, however crazy it looks, you're okay with just sitting in front of that computer gaming all day long. And I'm not talking about those YouTubers who are making money on it. That's great. I'm talking about your everyday person, right? I've got a couple of them in my family. I'm not saying that's the only thing they do. But when some of them were growing up back in the day, it wasn't that long ago. It seems like forever ago. When you start to have only adult children and then you have grandbabies, you're like, I remember when, but, and then you look at your grandbabies and I'm like, but man, a lot has changed. There is a gap somewhat. And honestly, as a grandparent, I'm just going to tell you a secret. You get to fill that gap because mommy and daddy, they don't understand it. They don't get it. They don't get it. So grandparents, you get to step in. So anyway, back to our mindset. When we have everything happening in our lives, right? And stuff is just going and going and going. Sometimes we just get stuck in the familiar. But the mindset, if you don't have a solid mindset, that familiar is going to be most likely negative. And if your thoughts don't match your goals, your feet will never hit the road that leads to meaningful progress. You want to go somewhere, right? You don't want to stay right where you are. You don't want to be just the gamer. I know I'm picking on them for some reason. I have no idea why. It just popped in my head, so this is what we got. I'm real with you, right? We get to do life together. So sometimes you got to be a little bit, maybe a little bit quirky on a Monday. Call me a comedian. I'm not that. But my husband says I am funny. I'm like, okay, whatever. I'm not that funny. I will not be a comedian. I don't think I could ever do stand-up. Could you? But think about your life being a stand-up person in your own life. Okay, I know it seems weird, right? To be a person within your own life. And you get to tell this person, which is really you, where you're going and what you're going to do and what you're going to think. Because you see, your actions come from where? Your thoughts. And self-talk, right? What's in our mind is not just background noise in your head. It's the steering wheel driving your actions. If your internal dialogue is negative, filled with doubts, or even limiting beliefs, it's like driving with the parking brake on. You think you're moving forward, but you're barely gaining traction. I literally was doing this last night. I kid you not. I was pulling into the garage and I back in. Okay. Honestly, I like to just go forward. Not really, but I back in just because of how my garage sits. And I like it that way. It's easy. And then I can pull out actually faster. So I feel like I save 90 seconds in my life. So those 90 seconds over however long, I live here, that adds up over time, right? Maybe I get a day out of it. Maybe not. But, one can pretend. And so I'm sitting there backing up and I get to the point where I need to empty out the rear part of my vehicle. So I stop it, put my parking brake on because I don't want to roll anywhere. I just have a couple things I want to grab out of the back, and it's harder for me to do it when I'm pulled all the way in because of what I'm storing behind my vehicle. So I just do it that way. So I was done and I put the back end down and I went to go reverse and it was like, that's not my voice, by the way. That's a sound effect. It was my voice making it, but you know what I mean. I didn't want you to think that something went wrong with literally the microphone. It didn't. It was just me trying to make a sound effect. But it had this like stalling movement. Like it did not want to go backwards. It did very slowly. And I was like, oh, wait. And then I took it off and it was like, ooh. It like kicked right back into its place. Like I was there where I wanted to be in less than a millisecond. It was crazy. That's what happens with our self-talk in our head. If it's the wrong kind, you're going to stall out. You're going to sit there and say, I can't go forward anymore. I don't know what's going on because, man, I'm just not going very fast. And then when you go backwards a little bit, because honestly in life, you have to go forward and backwards. And there's some detours along the way. Those are your sideways, right? Those are your detours. But what if you could change that? Research confirms how self-talk really does affect your mind and what you're saying. In 2018, there was a study published in the Journal of Experimental Psychology, and it showed that negative self-talk directly impacts performance and motivation. Participants who engaged in self-critical thoughts before tackling challenges were more likely to quit early and report higher stress levels. The brain takes these messages seriously. So should you. Right? Those little whispers in your head. You need to take them seriously because they shape not just how you feel, but what you're willing to attempt. In other words, your mind believes what it says. And if you tell yourself, I can't, you've already lost half the fight. Okay, it's story time. You thought it was March Madness time? Nope. It's a grandchild time. So my granddaughter was saying to me and my daughter, can't, grandma, can't. And she's 2. And she is, of course, I'm going to tell you, she's precious. She is precious. And we have this like jungle gym thing. It's not really a jungle gym, but it's these things that it's all balance. It's all for balance for the kids. And they're like a heavy duty plastic and they can hold like 300 pounds or something, 250, 300 pounds. Like I can walk on it. Okay. It was like awesome. I'm like, guess anyway, maybe it's not 250 pounds. Maybe it's 200 pounds, but I can walk on it. It's great. And so we could set it up inside, outside. It's portable. We can break it down, whatever. It's fabulous. Well, she's always wanted to do it and she's done it and she gets on there and yes, grandma helps her once in a while. You know, when I come over, she'll want to hold on to me and then she'll play with papa and whatever. And then she'll do it with mom. Well, she'll do it by herself, but she'll also do it with us. Well, let me just tell you, these past couple days, can't, grandma, can't. Help, grandma, can't. And I was like, oh, no, baby girl, you can. She's 2. Where is this coming from? Now, sidebar, it is definitely not from us. It's not from my daughter. It's not from grandma or papa, 1,000%. So don't know. I have suspicions of where I heard it, but that doesn't matter. The suspicions are she's heard it and it's already sticking because it's been told to her enough. And for whatever reason, if it's kind of cute, funny, and you're like, oh yeah, that was kind of funny, right? Maybe when you were growing up in high school, somebody nicknamed you something. You're like, oh yeah, that's so funny. And you just laughed about it. And then they kept going and they called you that for 2, 3, 4 years. And now you're graduating from college and you're like, that really did hurt because you took it to heart. See, what we think is cute in a moment can be lethal later on. What we think, what we say to ourselves, the mindset, that foundation, the self-talk, my friend, it matters. And if you want to take the next step to miles of greatness, you got to know that the miles matter, which means your mindset matters. So don't say I can't. Can't, grandma. Say I can. I can. I can try. It's okay if you fail, right? They're lessons learned. Because you see, on the flip side, right? Okay, I can. That positive self-talk has been linked to improved resilience, focus, and even physical endurance. Like, I think I can. I know I can. I can. I'm doing it. Look at me. Now, the end result might be different than what you thought when you started. But did you make it through to the other side? Yes. And according to sports psychology research, athletes who practice motivational self-talk could push through pain and doubts better than those who didn't. This drives home the power of your internal voice. It's either your quarterback calling the plays that win the game or the coach who tells you that you don't belong on the field. Your self-talk matters. What you say to yourself, where you're headed. Now, let's take a page out of the best book ever, in my opinion, the Bible. Proverbs 23, verse 7 says, "For as he thinks in his heart, so is he." When you think about the power of words, the power of what's being repeated in your head, I mean, hello, the warning's there. For as he thinks in his heart, so is he. What are you thinking? I mean, this verse is acknowledging your deepest thoughts shape your identity and your outcomes. Now, that doesn't mean if you say, I'm going to be a Powerball winner on Wednesday or whenever they do the next drawing, I have no idea, you're going to get it. I'm not saying that at all. What I'm saying is that what you are putting in your mind counts. If you're watching crappy stuff, you're going to get crappy out, right? Just like when you eat crappy stuff, what's going to happen? You're going to get crappy out. And always. When you're going to the bathroom, when you're talking. Have you ever done a cleanse? Have you ever done a fast? It's amazing how level-headed, how your mind changes, the focus of it. Philippians 4:8 instructs believers to focus their minds on whatever is true, whatever is noble, whatever is right, pointing to the importance of choosing empowering, constructive thoughts. What are you putting in your mind? What are you telling yourself? What are those whispers? What are those things that you have on repeat over and over again? When your self-talk is toxic, it forms mental barriers, disguised as truths, creating this prison you can't see but feel every day. Literally. And it's why so many people get stuck running in circles. Hence the hamster wheel. Wee! May look fun to watch them. They're adorable. But plan after plan with zero progress? Is that really where you want to be? These mental roadblocks hold you hostage to fear, doubt, and insecurity. But when you harness self-talk and make it work for you instead of against you, it becomes a launching pad, blasting you through limits and closer to the life you want, getting you closer to where you want to be. That doesn't mean your goal, the end goal, is going to look exactly like you see in your dreams. Okay? It may have to shift a little bit. But if you want to walk the miles that matter, you must first master the words within your mind. So shift your mindset. That is your kiss to keep it simple strategy. Shift your mindset. And it's hard because you're thinking, oh, I got all these bad words in my head. And I'm not talking 4-letter bad words, by the way. I'm just thinking, can't, Grandma. Can't, Grandma. How many things have you said? What are the stories that you're telling yourself quietly? The whispers that you're beginning to absolutely adopt as truths, even though they're lies. Let's go back to high school. That cute little funny name that somebody called you. And it was oh so funny. You kind of laughed about it, and then somehow it caught on. Graduate from college, and you're like, what? The what? And then you begin to dig a little bit deeper, and you're like, ultimately that really stung. Had I not allowed that to get in my mind, maybe I would have done or made a few different choices. That doesn't mean you second guess everything, by the way. We're just diving deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper. If you want to know who you are and know who you are becoming, you have to know who God is creating you to be. And you can't just sit there and go, I'll just do whatever. Whatever comes easy. Great. Turn on the TV, have fun, go binge watch whatever. Go be a YouTube gamer. Not putting them down, by the way. Anything to, where you don't have to go out. Go live with your mom in the basement. All these things, because it's like, it's just easier. Shifting your mindset does not have to be hard, and it does not have to be a mystery. It's a choice backed by intentional action, deliberate action, saying, this is where I'm going. This is where I'm headed. And in fact, you may have to be the bull in the china closet and say, words, get out of my way. These are lies. And that leads me to number 1 and what it looks like in real life. Catch and challenge the lies. We all have that inner critic spinning stories about why we can't, right? Can't, Grandma, won't, or shouldn't. And the problem? Most of these stories are total fiction, dressed as facts. Your first job is to catch these toxic thoughts as they arise. I'm not good enough. This is too hard. I can't, Grandma, can't, Grandma. I always fail. I didn't get it right. I hear that a lot of times from younger kiddos, especially your pre-K into first grade. Can't get it right. Can't get it right the first time. Where do you think they heard that from? Mom or dad saying, you got to be perfect. And maybe not saying that, but deliberately, intentionally saying, You got to do your best. And the best means you're going to go out there and you're going to get first on the team. Maybe last is better, Dad. Maybe last is first. What do you think, Mom? This is too hard. I always fail. What is it for you? What are those sayings? Take yourself back. Maybe when you are making a major decision in your life, I want you to go back there in your mind for a moment. What was influencing your thoughts then? You're old enough to think about it. You're old enough to allow yourself to go back there. And if things are coming up for you, let me tell you, there's some things that are unsettled there. And I would tell you, reach out to a therapist, reach out to a coach, someone who knows what they're doing, and contact me. Not good enough. What is it? But once you catch it and you're like, man, I never realized that before. And sometimes we say things out loud or even talking to our dogs because we don't want to really tell our spouses or other people in the room, but we're saying it out loud. And so it's still being communicated. But see, when you say it out loud, it even becomes more sticky in your mind because it's not just in your mind now, but now it's been heard. And so now you're hearing it in your mind and back around to you. That is danger. Okay. In my opinion, it's WAR. Seriously. It's full out. You really got to take hold and grab it. And you got to ask yourself, is this really true? Challenge it. What evidence do I have that proves otherwise? And then replace those lies with hard truths about your capability, your resilience, your growth, your potential. How awesome you are. Remind yourself what you did on that last project. Remind yourself how you came through this specifically hard time in your life. Go back. You're strong enough to do that. But then I want you to go forward so you can continue to challenge the lies so you can live in the truth. And that's hard to do. It's so hard to do. But you could do it. Shift your mindset. Number 2, create a future-focused dialogue. Your mind can get stuck in the past, right? And get stuck in the past mistakes or even the current discomfort. Both of them are dead ends. So flip the script, flip the switch with future-focused self-talk that truly speaks directly to the results you want. So, for example, I feel so overwhelmed. I'm done. Try, I can do hard things. I can do hard things. I'm capable of handling this one next step. One step at a time leads to miles of greatness. I can handle hard things. Shift from I've never done this to I'm learning and I'm getting better every day. It's okay. I'm learning. I'm getting better every day. And when you look and analyze literally your dialogue, it rewires your brain to aim for what's next, not what's behind. That's where you know you've matured, right? Because a lot of times our youngies, right? Our minis, our children. Okay, so I call my grandbabies minis. Then we've got our babies, which is our children, even though they're all adults. They're always going to be your babies, by the way, always. And then you have, okay, your adult friends and all of that. But when you're older, you could go back and know, okay, wait, I'm old enough now. I need to make this shift and say, okay, now it's not what is in the past where I stick to it, but I know what's in the now. Create your now. Aim for what's next, not what's behind. Action ignites motivation. It tethers your mindset to progress, not pain. And then finally, number 3, anchor your mind with daily rituals. Mindset shifts don't happen overnight. It takes time. You got to be patient with yourself. You got to give yourself some grace. It's just like when you say, I'm going to lose 10 pounds in a day, if only. I know that's usually joking, but in our mind, we're like, if I could only lose 10 pounds in a day, that would be awesome. Right? It would be great. But we know how long it took us or how many different roller coasters we've been on to the point of where we are now. And it's like, okay, I've got to be patient. I got to give myself grace. You've got to give yourself grace when it comes to your mindset shifts. because there's a lot of shifting. Because a lot of what you've been saying is now in concrete and no longer in sand. And so you got to get the big thing, jackhammer, that just sounds so loud. My grandson loves trains and construction and excavators and all of this stuff. And as I watch him and listen to him talk as we drive by construction zones or pass a train, it's interesting to hear, Grandma, I like this because, or he'll tell me, I think it'd be cool to do this with that. And I'm thinking, yeah, now if we could just do that in our minds. Because in all honesty, where do you think our dreams die? Not because of our circumstances. It's in our minds. That's always where they're laid to rest. And most of the time it's because we give up. Now, again, dreams shift too, okay, right? As we grow, as we mature, as our life experiences shape our life and our journey that we're on. And then we have kids and all of that. And so things begin to ebb and flow, right? So you have to go with the flow. But you see, if you have that dream of whatever, let's just do a simple one. You want to write a book. Because believe it or not, I think it's now, 4 in 5 people want to write a book. Hey, if you want to, let me know. More to come on that later. But seriously, let's say you want to write a book. And you could sit here and say, I just don't have time. There's just so much. You've gone through, this journey so far, and now you're getting close to being an empty nester. And you're like, I want to write a book. And you're like, I just don't know that I can do it now. I'm just too far gone. I haven't really written anything. I mean, the only thing I really write are text messages, and no one's going to read a book like a text message. Yeah, I know, laugh. But in all seriousness, it's because right now your mind has literally put and formed in concrete that it's not ever going to be possible. Too many things have gotten in the way. Kids, finances, maybe your spouse, your own career, opportunities, things you said yes to that maybe you should have said no to. Your life has been shaped differently than what you expected. And you're like, yeah, well, I just kind of let it go, but I really still want to write a book. But then you become disappointed all of a sudden, right? Because you've already convinced yourself that's where dreams die. I'm here to tell you they don't need to die in the mind. So make the shift in your mind. Create daily rituals that prime your brain for success. It might be reading the Bible more specifically, not just, I'm just passing over this one thing. Get into the Word. Maybe it's also including some powerful affirmations, journaling your wins, as small or as big as they are, the lessons that you're learning along the way, visualizing the life you're working toward as in, okay, I see myself in a year from now because this child will be gone, or we've got a wedding here, or wait, I know we're going to be moving, whatever it is in your life. Now, I'm not saying there's not going to be extenuating circumstances that changes everything. You're going to have those things that come up in your life. So when that happens, you deal with it, and then you come back to where you left off. But a lot of people don't, because they think because of that major interruption of life, and sometimes it's life and death, meaning a loss of a loved one or a gain of a loved one, right? Someone was born or someone died. Now, there could be maybe a major accident, medical issues and things like that play a part in. Could be career changes. Those are some major things. Could be a financial. And then marital. Those are some of the main things, which are like, Christiane, that's a lot. I've counting on 2 hands now, not just one. I know there's a lot, but I'm here to tell you, your dreams don't have to die just because life is happening. Put a pause on it and then come back and revisit it. But come back, because otherwise you've etched in stone that this cannot happen. And I'm here to challenge you and say, what if it can? And when you have these daily rituals, these rhythms that act like miles on a mental odometer, marking steady progress and making your goals feel more real and attainable over time, what do you think is going to happen to you? Wow! You're going to become on fire. That jackhammer is not going to feel heavy at all. You're going to be digging up all those horrible negative thoughts and replacing them with, I can, not can't, Grandma. Without these anchors, it's easy to slip back into the old, easy self-talk that stalls. So anchor your mind in those daily rituals and rhythms. My friend, walking the miles that matter isn't about quick fixes or this magic potion, right? I can't just be Tinkerbell for you and go, here you go, here's my pixie dust for you. I can pray for you, by the way. That's as close as it gets, which I think is actually a lot stronger than any pixie dust. Just saying, even though I like Disney, I'm just saying. It's about fighting through the mental resistance that truly probably has been convincing you over the years that you have to give up or settle. And it starts with these tough conversations with yourself, right? And the willingness to challenge those long-held beliefs. What's written in stone? Maybe you need to get the jackhammer. Maybe you need to create your own March Madness. Did you see a couple of the games that the underdogs won? Florida was taken out. Kansas taken out. Iowa, Hawkeyes, 1999 was the last time. They were in the Sweet 16, I believe. That's a long time. And they made it through. Crazy. Do you think they were living in the past? I don't think so. They were creating their moment, their now. Your thoughts decide your steps. So make sure your mindset is strong, clear, and aligned with where you want to go, right? Who you are now and who you are becoming. Because I solely, truly, honestly believe that God has something unimaginable that you could ever think of for you. But you have to be willing to take that next step, one step at a time, leads to miles of greatness. Because you see, my friend, if you take nothing else from this, but only this today, every meaningful mile begins in the mind. Go in peace, be present, be incredible, be you. I love you so very much. I cannot wait to see you on the other side. Blessings, hugs, and lots and lots of love. We'll talk to you real soon. Hey, have a glorious day, and thanks for putting up with my voice. We'll talk to you soon. Bye.
Feeling inspired, ready to train for life, and love your journey? Visit CreateYourNow.com for more incredible resources to help you along the way. We'll see you next time on Create Your Now, Your Best Selfie. And remember, always be sure you consult your physician before beginning any health and fitness plan.